Jim, just give us your thoughts first of all going into the game this weekend.
I mean, look, we're going into the game on a decent run of form. Obviously, we know Motherwell well enough, given that we've already played against them a couple of times this season, and we've found ourselves on the wrong end of both results, unfortunately. But we're going into the game with a lot of confidence within the group, unbeaten in our last 5 games, and we want to go down to Motherwell to give a good account of ourselves and to make sure that we're on the right side of the result this time around.
And it feels like every game's a big game in its own way, but you look at the league positions of the two, they'll be looking at it. If they get the win, they go above you. You get the win, you put a nice bit of daylight between yourselves and one of your nearest challenges.
Yeah, I mean, look, we go into every game trying to win it. We feel that we'd done enough last Saturday to win the game, and we certainly felt after the game that we had dropped 2 points. So we'd like to go down the road this weekend, down to Motherwell, and try and make amends for that and try and take maximum points. I think our performances in both games that we've played against Motherwell so far this season have actually been very good. The only criticism probably could be that we lacked a bit of ruthlessness in front of goal with the chances that we created. Added to that, we also shot ourselves in the foot on a couple of occasions with some of the goals that we've conceded. So I think we're going into this game in a better place now than what we were going into the last fixture. Obviously Motherwell are going into the game off the back of a really positive result against St Mirren last weekend, having had to weather a difficult patch, a run of fixtures, results that I'm sure they wouldn't have been happy about. But yeah, I mean, look, there's lots of incentives there. Obviously, as you mentioned, to open up a 5-point gap would be great, but on the flip side of that, the incentive for Motherwell is to try and go above us. So there's a lot riding on the game for both teams. But if we can build on last weekend's performance against Kilmarnock, that would be really, really good, because I think it's probably one of our best performances of the season to date in terms of particularly in possession. I thought we played really, really well. We created enough chances to win the game. And unfortunately just couldn't hang on towards the end. A real rash decision to give away the penalty, and that unfortunately led to us dropping a couple of points.
Just on the game of the weekend, I mean, obviously we're aware that the club have been speaking with Willie Collum in the aftermath. Just to kind of try and pull all this together, why did the club see the need to do that, and what was the upshot of it?
Well, I haven't had a chance to catch up with the chief executive since those conversations, but look, I think there was a few decisions within the game that obviously we were a little bit confused by, and I highlighted those decisions after the game. There was a tackle on Vichko Sevelj that obviously never led to an on-field review. There was the incident with Sam Dalby as well. So yeah, I just think there's a bit of clarity wanted from the club. I like Willie Collum's approach to how he's went into that role as the head of referee, and he spoke really openly and honestly at the start of the season about transparency. We know how difficult the job is for referees week to week, and we respect them, of course we do, but I think it's just trying to understand what the decision making process is with regards to VAR, the on-field reviews and things like that. So I haven't, as I said, had a chance to catch up with Luigi yet, but I'm pretty sure it'll fill me in later on this afternoon.
Do you feel that even subliminally almost there was maybe a mentality among the match officials or the VAR in the last game, given what happened against St Mirren before, when the two decisions were deemed to have gone against St Mirren?
Definitely. I think there was so much made about the couple of penalties that we had awarded in that game. A lot of media attention, and referees are obviously only human, and I'm pretty sure they're watching the news and reading the papers themselves, and subconsciously maybe thinking St Mirren got Dundee United got a couple of soft ones against St Mirren. And maybe sometimes that does play on their minds, but it shouldn't be that way. It's game to game at the end of the day, and every game needs to be treated in its own right. And whether that has happened or not, I'm not suggesting that for a minute. I think Stephen McLean's a good referee, but there was just one or two incidents that we felt merited on-field reviews, and for the referee then to be the one that makes those all-important decisions. I don't think it's right that the guys in the VAR studio are deciding whether a tackle is a good tackle or a bad tackle. We want the referee to have as much input and control in the game as possible, and I just didn't feel that happened against St Mirren.
Team news?
No, we're okay. I mean, we've got a similar squad to the one that we had against St Mirren. Trapanovsky has joined in with the group, has been training, but he won't be ready to start the game. There's a possibility that he may be in the squad.
And Will Ferry's suspended, isn't he?
Will is suspended, yeah, unfortunately, yeah.
Just a final one, just looking at the impact that the boys you've brought in on loan have had. I mean, all of them have come in and really played their part. I'm just wondering, if you look at the bigger picture, that must be quite a positive way for Dundee United to be viewed by other clubs, particularly some of the big ones maybe in England, that they know that if there's players they want to develop or put out for experience or whatever, they'll look at what's happening this season and think, well, Dundee United is a good place to put those players.
Yeah, hopefully that's the case. I mean, I've been very fortunate, I think, at all of the clubs that I've been at in terms of utilising the loan market, particularly from England, and this time round at Dundee United it's been no different. I've been heavily supported by our head of recruitment, Michael Kearney, it has to be said, but I've got a good relationship with Norwich. Having done some business with them in the past and taken Akinfenwa up to St Mirren, I'm delighted Manny Adebiega has been able to come up and replicate the good job that Akin done, and he's became a better player in a short period of time from working here at United and obviously playing week in, week out. Obviously got a decent relationship with Liverpool as well, taking Leighton Clarkson up to Aberdeen last season, and delighted that they were willing to give us Lucas Stevenson this time round, and Luke has been a breath of fresh air since he's came to the club. Great attitude in training, and his performances on the pitch, regardless of what position we play him in, are always very, very consistent. So the lone lads have came in and done brilliant for us. Obviously Jack Walton was here previously, and obviously Sam Dalby at the top end of the pitch, banging in goals for fun right through the spine of the team. They're all really important players for us, and it would be great if we could continue to do that good work in the loan market, because it is a something that we have to continue to look at. We don't want to have 8 or 9 loans, but if you get 3 or 4 really good ones that can make a difference, then it can certainly help the squad.
Just sticking with that loan front, I guess for a team like Dundee United it makes sort of good financial as well as footballing sense to bring in loan players. Is that a market you could see yourself tapping into again in the near future? Yeah,
I mean, like I said, it's a system that I have utilised over the years as manager. Like every other manager out there, of course it does help with the budget. We probably wouldn't be able to sign the players mentioned on permanence, given what their contracts look like at their parent clubs, but these loans can be hugely beneficial for all parties. The player is coming to play at a top league, senior football. The parent club is obviously getting to look at their player competing against top level opposition, and from our perspective we're getting a really good quality player for what we feel is a good price and works within our budget. So we will continue to use the loan system going forward.
You've spoken about your disappointment at dropping points at the weekend. What does that say about the season that you're having, that a draw is a disappointment?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think it speaks volumes of the group. I thought we were really good on the day against Kilmarnock. We hit the post in the early part of the game as well with Big Sam. If that goes in, I think the game is obviously a lot more comfortable. The longer the game is at 1-0, then Kilmarnock have always got something to play for, and Derek McInnes made some really positive changes going into the latter stages and pretty much threw every attacking player they had on the bench onto the park. They've got nothing to lose at the end of the day, and it worked for them. We, albeit caused our own problems in that situation by giving away a silly penalty at a really crucial time in the game, but I do certainly feel like it was 2 points dropped. No doubt Derek McInnes would be feeling the same after the last game we played down at Rugby Park when they were winning 3-1, but the all-round performance pleased me. I thought we looked really composed on the ball, really brave, playing out from the back, and created numerous opportunities. And as I said, I believe we've done enough in the game to warrant taking all 3 points. But to be disappointed for only picking up a point against a good organised team like Kilmarnock, I think speaks volumes for the group.
You play Motherwell this weekend, and you've spoken about making amends for last week's dropped points. They're a team just sitting behind you. Does that give an added incentive not to allow them to sort of leapfrog you in the table?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think Motherwell have had a terrific season up to now. I know prior to the game against St Mirren, they were on a little bit of a difficult run of form, but no doubt Stuart Kettlewell will be delighted that they were able to keep a clean sheet against a difficult St Mirren opponent and obviously win the game in the end. So no doubt they'll be feeling a lot better coming into this game against us than they were possibly going into the St Mirren game. But the two games that we've played against Motherwell up to now have been very competitive. Very little between the two teams, and it's been fine margins on the day that have ultimately won Motherwell the game. So we have to go down there and be positive. We're on a great run of form ourselves. We're unbeaten in the last 5 games, and it'd be lovely to go down and bring a good travelling support down the road and hopefully give them all 3 points to cheer.
You're in the midst of a busy schedule of fixtures, and they come thick and fast as we move through the festive period. How pivotal could the next sort of few weeks be for your season?
Well, I've said for weeks now, we've been getting a lot of plaudits for the start that we've had, but I do believe this festive period is the most significant period of the league campaign so far, and I think if we can get to the middle of January and still be in and around the top 6, then I think we'll be in a good position. There's teams down below us that are picking up good results as well. I think we all expect Hibs and Hearts to improve given the squad and the resources that both those teams have available to them. So I think the league is really, really competitive. We just need to focus on ourselves and just make sure that we keep giving everything on the day. And it would be great to try and get some of these injured players back as well. And I think we've had to go for large periods of this season without some really key and influential players, the likes of Docherty and Moult and Ross Graham. Trapanovsky's back in training with the lads now. Craig Sibbald, getting him back and available in the middle of January will be like a new signing. So the squad is going to be stretched over the next few weeks, and we're going to have to look after the players and make sure that we get the appropriate amount of rest and recovery so that we can compete on the match day. But it's an exciting time. I think we're all looking forward to it. As players, you just want to play game after game after game, and when you're doing well and you're winning games, mental fatigue doesn't come into it.
You spoke about Will Ferry being suspended. How big a miss will he be?
Yeah, I mean, look, any team that has to go without their best players, it's always is a problem. But at the same time, we feel that we've got an adequate replacement there to come in and fill in Will's place. But Will has probably been one of the signings of the season as far as I'm concerned in terms of his consistent performances from day one. He's improving, he's getting better, he's still a young lad. He's loving life at Dundee United, and he's bitterly disappointed that he misses out on such an important game, but it'll be good to have him fresh and have him back available for the Celtic game thereafter.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Just a quick one on Christian Trapanovsky. You mentioned he's back training with the group, hopeful to be in the squad this weekend, and is he someone you have to take a little bit of extra care with in terms of kind of bringing him back given the previous injury he had, and obviously like you mentioned the busy festive period coming up?
Yeah, definitely. We're obviously really pleased that he's back in training. We have taken learnings from the setback that he had at Easter Road, and we've asked the player as well to be a bit more honest about the situation because he possibly hadn't fully recovered from the hamstring issue prior to the Hibs game, but we have taken a lot more time with it this time, and just to make sure that he is 100% right before he comes back, and he feels that way himself. The medical team couldn't have done any more with him, and he's a really important player for us, so it's great to have him back because he's one of those players that really caught the headlines in the early part of the campaign with his goal scoring contributions, both assisting and scoring himself, and you can't have enough good attacking options as a manager, and so really pleased to have him back in the fold.
Thank you.
You mentioned about the disappointment of losing that penalty last week, but the type of penalty is becoming more and more common with VAR, where the defender goes to clear the ball and the attacker comes in blindside. There's not an awful lot you can really do about that as a defender, so I mean that's going to become more and more prevalent in the games as we go on.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think we've seen those types of penalties given all throughout the season, you know, and we had a similar type of penalty against St Mirren the week before. So I was never questioning the decision to give Kilmarnock a penalty at that point. You know, I would have wanted it at the other end. So I think the referee got it right. My bugbear after the game was the amount of press attention our penalty got against St Mirren, and the fact that so many pundits who are ex-players and have played the game, you know, tried to deem that wasn't a foul. You know, for me was you know, that was beyond belief. So I thought the referee got the decision right against St Mirren for us. I thought Stephen McLean at the weekend for Kilmarnock got the decision right. There's definite contact on the Kilmarnock player. I think it's a poor decision from ourselves in that moment, especially at that stage of the game. The player is going away from goal. You know, no real chance of scoring from that situation, and I think we just need to show a bit more perspective and be a bit calmer in that situation. So we'll learn from it, and you know, hope that in the next time that type of situation comes, we'll make a better decision.
Dave, very simply, just give us your thoughts going into this game this weekend.
Yeah, it's going to be another tough game away after playing 2 home games in a row, and against a team that is also having a good season. But we want to continue building on our good momentum, and we will go there to try to get the 3 points.
Some terrific momentum that the team are on at the moment. I mean, it's been a great season, full stop. I mean, can you put your finger on why it's been so good? I mean, a lot of people will have looked at the start of the season and seen a team has just been promoted, a lot of new faces. Might take a little while to find the feet, but that's not been the case at all.
It seems like we all clicked in from the very beginning, and maybe beyond a lot of people's expectations, given the circumstances that you just described. But I think we managed to bring together a good, strong squad with good quality players and also very good characters. So there are several reasons why we are where we are right now, and but we don't want to get complacent. No, we saw that we have good reasons to believe that we can push even further.
Well, you've anticipated the next question. I mean, I guess there are maybe people on the outside that are just waiting for Dundee United to have that little run, you know, that difficult little run.
Yeah.
But and maybe every team does have that. But do you see any reason at all why, you know, we're into December now, and
Yeah.
you've got this momentum behind
Yeah.
you, Dundee United can't carry that momentum right through to the end of the season?
Well, it's something that we know, and we spoke about that it could happen. So we prepare in advance in case a moment like this arrives. Like every club, I think, in the world during a season has this moment where they dip for different reasons. There can be injuries, there can be a lot of games, or it might not be like that. No, we are going to try to do everything in our hands to avoid that from happening, and in case it comes, to be mentally prepared to bounce back as quickly as possible from a situation like that.
And what about yourself? I mean, I think it was a little while ago since I last had the pleasure of speaking to you. I mean,
Thank you.
how have you found things so far in Scottish football? And you seem to have adapted pretty well to it.
Yes, I'm enjoying it a lot. Everything about it, to be honest, football-wise and life-wise. I'm loving the country, the people, the city also, the club, of course, the supporters, and everything is being accompanied by good results from the team. So for now, I have a lot of reasons to smile about and be happy, and I just want to keep going, maintain my ambition at the same time, and keep improving. And learning, obviously, and developing my game and helping the team to be better and better.
This is the final one for me. I take it when you look at how things have gone so far, if you take a step back, you must look and think, this really was the right move for me.
Yes, definitely. That's what I tell my wife from time to time. I tell her, you see, I told you it was the right decision to come here, no? From some other options that might have been on the table. So I'm very happy. It's been a long time since I've searching for an opportunity like this in a scenario like this, and I'm very happy that it's going well for now. I'm enjoying it a lot.
And I mean, is your wife over here with you?
Yes, they are. Yes, my wife and my kids also came with me 2 months ago already. My kids started going to it's primary school. I think here, the system is a little different from where we were before, and they're also loving it. Yeah.
A draw against Kilmarnock at the weekend, the manager spoke about how he was a bit disappointed with that. What does that say about the season that Dundee United is having, that a draw is a disappointment?
Yeah, and it's a good sign that we are not happy with a draw at home, and also I think we came out of the game before that with a little bit of dissatisfaction when we won against St Mirren, because we all knew that we didn't play that well. We knew that we despite getting the 3 points, we could have done much better. And then we did work on improving a lot our game during the week, and we were happy to see that against Kilmarnock there was a significant improvement. We let the 3 points slip at the end, with an unlucky situation that it happens, but we come out of that game with a lot of confidence because of how much better we played from the game before that, and hopefully we can take that into the next game for this Saturday.
Motherwell are close behind in the table. They have a chance to leapfrog Dundee United should they win this weekend. Does that give an added incentive to go out there and pick up some points?
Yes, definitely. Both teams, we are close, and obviously a victory for any of us would give us that extra advantage, which is very important because we are approaching a period in the season where we might get near knowing which teams are going to be at the top 6 and which are going to be playing the bottom 6.
You came through the ranks of one of the biggest clubs in the world at Barcelona. What is it about Dundee United that you're enjoying so much?
Well, also the spirit of a great club that there is here. It's a club with very nice and successful history, and obviously with a great fan base, and it's a power in the football of Scotland, and those are things that I like. It's a club that I feel that that I've established a very good connection with from the very beginning, and that it comes naturally to feel very loyal to and very committed to. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.
You've spoken a little bit there about the start of your career, and you've played in countries like Japan, Spain, Serbia, Hungary, and Romania. And just how do you think Scottish football compares to where you've played before?
Yeah, it's a little different football-wise. It's still at times a little more direct, the football that is played. Getting the ball forward earlier and not in a very controlled manner, let's say. But I've played in different countries, like you mentioned, in different systems, and over the years I've managed to adapt a lot to different football environments, and this had also helped me keep an open mind, and so that I can adapt faster to a new environment like it is here in Scotland.
And just like you mentioned there, having played in so many different countries and continents as well, just how do you think that has added into your skill set and throughout your career? How do you think that's changed when you've gone to the different countries?
Yeah, definitely coming out of La Masia, where you are trained to be a very specific kind of player for a specific football philosophy. It's not easy for Barca players to go out there and play in different kinds of systems, different kinds of playing styles, where you don't get to have maybe the possession of the ball for as high as 70%, or you're all the time attacking. You have to adapt, you have to learn how to be disciplined in other areas defensively, and that's something that I had to incorporate into my game to survive in this world of football, and to improve all these other aspects of my game as well, so that I could fit in different environments and different styles.
You currently have the privilege of wearing the captain's armband when Ross was out injured. Does that add any pressure to your game, or is that something you feel quite comfortable with and can move it on?
I do, to be honest. It's something that has been like a source of extra motivation for me and inspiration, and it's been a privilege, like you said, an honor to be the captain of a club like Dundee United in the absence of Doug, obviously, and I'm very proud that some traits have been identified in me that gave the the boss, the confidence to give me the armband, and I just look how I can return that to him and to the team, of course, with hard work and with high standards and good performances.
You talked about the fans earlier on, and 2 nights ago you had the immense privilege of meeting lots and lots of them. Is that something that was new to you? Have you ever experienced anything like that with so many fans coming to see you on a cold night?
Yes, well, yeah, I have. In Japan, there's a lot of fans also because the population is so large. So when we were there, we used to have these events, and they're very nice events, to be honest, and an opportunity to get closer to the fans who support us so much throughout the entire season. And I think once or twice in a year that we do it, it's something to enjoy, because I mean they give us so much. So I think it's the least that we could do to spend one afternoon with them, taking pictures, shaking hands, and exchanging a couple of words.
One last thing to do with the weather. We've had a bit of a cold spell this past week. Is that something that you are familiar with, or is this a new experience to you?
No, I am familiar with it. Not easy to deal with, but I've been in countries where it has been also very cold, like in Hungary. The difference is that there usually the season stops at this point because of the weather conditions. Here we will have to continue playing on. There will probably be tough games, but we are ready to face any challenge.